Much better.
What we can have?
You've talked a lot about you're not worried about your team's focus. Is there any, not to say concern, but what's the level of preparedness that's required to face a team that you beat by 47?
Every game, provides different challenges. Is the best way I can say it. And getting ready for Alabama or Kentucky is going to provide different challenges, and South Carolina is no different. Obviously they haven't had the same level of success as some other teams in the league. I think they're dangerous. They have a number of players that are tricky. I think the way they play offensively is hard to guard. And when we played them the first time, we had a reason to be really motivated to play. We just lost a game at home against Auburn that we were really disappointed about. So we were able to challenge our guys, on the backside of that. And the same for tomorrow is like we are playing for a lot right now, for the rest of the season. And our team has some clear goals of like what we're trying to achieve over these next couple weeks. And anything less than our best effort tomorrow night could prevent us from achieving some of those things. So I will be really disappointed if we don't come out and play really, really hard tomorrow night.
Is that how you kind of try and find a way to get better when you play a game like this that you're supposed to win so late in the season?
I really think we can get better regardless of necessarily who exactly the opponent is. And as we talked about, like we're not looking for things in each game to say like, all right, this is what we need to play hard for. It's more of kind of a overall macro level mentality that I want our team and our players and our staff to have. Like college, you only get 32 games promised. You get, the regular season plus one in the conference tournament. So it's not like we get 100 games like the NBA where a Tuesday night really might not matter. Like that's not the case. If we don't win tomorrow night, we're really hurting our chances to win the league. So we need to come out and play really, really well. And we have, because of the rest of the year, I think we have plenty of things that we should be able to motivate ourselves for on any given night, to go compete.
It feels a little bit weird to ask you about what areas of improvement you'd like to see when you won your last 5 games by 110 plus points. But what are those areas you think this team can continue to improve upon right now?
I think we have a lot, to be honest. Like Saturday was a great win, but I didn't think we were as sharp in some areas that we expect to be. And now it's, as always, it's more like incremental things. I didn't think we were as good on the scout on Saturday as we've been in a long time. Just making some silly mistakes, like letting Colin Chandler make 5 threes. Like that, we have not been doing that. And now you got to give him credit. He made some tough shots, shot some from deep. But just some kind of little things like that. And I thought our transition defense at times could be better. Like we have a number of things that we can continue to improve upon. We're shooting the ball a little bit better. I think our shot selection and who's taking them on a big picture has gotten better, but there were moments on Saturday where it wasn't good enough, and we allowed them to kind of get back in the game, by going on some scoring droughts in our own right where they just shouldn't have shown up. So, maybe being a little picky and, being a little extra, but I think we have plenty that we can keep getting better at.
Yeah, speaking of that, playing off that, a coach once said, like, you have a finite number of games and minutes. Like, everyone would love to see Ollie play 10 minutes if you're blowing him out.
Yeah.
But you really can't afford, like, you have to run certain things and look at certain, is that kind of accurate that against an opponent versus like in a scrimmage?
Right.
There's certain things, inbounds plays and things like this
Yeah.
you really want to put eyes on.
There's everything. I also think, our profiles, for tournament time, there's a lot of data that's being evaluated, and a couple of the data points are kind of margin of victory driven, and so I think you got to be mindful of that in every game, and it's not ideal. Like I would love, in some of these games where we've gotten up, in the last 8 minutes to play our younger guys and allow them to, play through mistakes and develop and do those things. But winning by 12 is not nearly as valuable as winning by 30, and it's, I think old school people might not appreciate that, but the reality is the better seed we have, in March, the better chance we have to go deeper in the tournament. So we can't sacrifice any of those gains at this point, and we'll try to take advantage of those times to get younger guys some minutes and stuff like that. But you really just got to play all 40 minutes, and otherwise your profile and your resume can get dinged a little
Is
bit.
it I mean, getting to Tampa is pretty, I mean, not critical, but
It'd be awesome, right? And I think top 4 seeds get protected,
Yeah.
and I think we would be in good shape to get there if we say a top 4 seed. So that is talking about what are we motivated to play for. That would be one thing is being a protected seed in the NCAA tournament.
I think you mentioned Tennessee is one of like the turning points in this season, but how much was this last game against South Carolina also one of those turning points, just the way that they responded from that Auburn loss, and what it's led you guys to since then?
I think it was a great response. It was a great response, and because coming off the Auburn game, and it's something that we as coaches have to remind ourselves every day. Like, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. And we had been playing pretty well before the Auburn game when we probably thought we were a little better than we were, and then you lose it to Auburn at home. And speaking for myself, you're worried you're a lot worse than you really think you are, for the next 72 hours until you get to go play that game at South Carolina. So our response in that game made me feel a lot better, about our team, that you're not gonna be perfect. You're gonna have moments where you're not at your best throughout the course of a season, but the way they responded was a championship level response, and that's what we expect from our guys. And it gave us confidence that moving forward that if we can find a way to maintain that level, we'll be in good shape. And we pretty much did, for the most part. We had moments on Saturday where I didn't think we guarded the way we needed to, et cetera. But, we've been playing at a championship level for about a month now.
And then Michi Johnson was 3 for 12. You guys held him to 0 for 3 in that first matchup. Just would you guys do so well against him, and how critical is that to cut his water off again?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to necessarily talk about too much defensively of what we did because we got to guard him tomorrow also. But I think limiting his 3-point attempts and limiting his ability to get to the rim and draw fouls is the most important thing with Michi. He's having a great conference season, like insanely efficient. He's a 32 assist rate, a 13 turnover rate. Like, everything he's doing has been good. And we did a phenomenal job on him the first time, phenomenal. And, I think it'll be an even tougher challenge to try to do that again tomorrow night. But, he's the head of their team, and when he plays well, they're in games. Like, they took Texas down to the wire on the road. That's a really good team. They played Alabama tough. They didn't, they weren't necessarily in it at the end, but it wasn't a wide margin the whole game. And a lot of that has to do with Michi playing well, playing with confidence, making baskets and finding baskets for his teammates.
How much has some of your individual players just improved in not caring as much about their individual statistics over, the result in a sense?
You said our guys?
Yeah. Like, if a guy like Boogie
Yeah.
has 6 points and everyone else and you guys get a win, how much does maybe a young guy like him improve to not caring so much about his final stat line or how he shot from the field?
I think for our guys, a little bit of our issue early in the year, I don't want to say it was selfish. It was more of just, the pressure of meeting expectation and not shooting the ball as well as people expected or things like that. I don't think we ever had like selfish issues as much as just trying to work together and getting through, a little bit of adversity, getting through losses. And now, as we've gotten more comfortable playing together, I think our guys have a much better understanding of what makes us who we are. And so now our collective buy-in on that has been great. And with doing that, you have to sacrifice some 3-point attempts. You might have to sacrifice some points or whatever. But all 8 guys in the rotation right now, I feel really confident are on the same page and, trying to bring the best out of each other.
From a bigger, kind of national, standpoint, the top 5 teams in KenPom are also the top 5 defenses in KenPom. That's never happened. Just kind of from a roster construction standpoint, how important is that? Obviously, that was something you guys did a couple years ago.
Right.
To change the
To
program.
get better defensively. Who is the top 5 right now? It's Michigan, Arizona, Houston, Illinois, or?
No, you guys, and it was up here.
Somebody else.
Duke. Yeah, UConn 7, I think, and Illinois 6, right?
Yeah.
All teams are big, man. I think all 7 of those teams are huge. And I think that's, sports is funny, man. It's everything's, a give and take and a balance. And, back in the 80s and the 90s when teams were playing 3 round 2 and just jamming the paint and playing that way, people started figuring out if you spread them out and shoot more threes, you can be a little more efficient that way. And I kind of feel like it got to a point where teams were playing a little too much 5-out or whatever, not putting enough pressure on the rim, not creating second chances. And so you're able to find guys and play style that you could really gain an advantage on your opponents doing that. And I would imagine, haven't looked, but all those teams probably have a similar profile, that they make teams miss and they don't give them second chances. And that's really kind of our foundation defensively. And we have size, right? Really every starting spot besides the two, I would say we're huge. Boogie's a big point guard, Tommy's a huge 3, Kondo's a huge 4, Ruben's a big 5. And then Herb is the only undersized guy in a rotation. So staying big, staying physical, creating first shot misses, getting on the glass, that's a formula that works in college. Obviously, not having a defensive 3 seconds is something that you can take advantage of in college as well. And, the rules are different. You got to take advantage of it.
And then it just seemed like Kentucky latest team to kind of get super aggressive and try to attack you guys on the short roll. Just the way that the bigs have responded to that challenge, like recovery defense, and even Xavier getting so good at not getting screened too.
Yeah, no, we've been really good that way. I think Xavier's been great defensively all year. He lost Chandler a couple times, but he's been our mental toughness guy, sticking on shooters and fighting to compete defensively. Boog's been good on the ball, but our bigs, and we've talked about it before. Ruben deserves a ton of the credit. I would argue he's National Defensive Player of the Year, but Kondo is pretty damn good in his own right defensively back there, just cleaning things up and being a great rim protector, rebounder. And as we've also talked about, when we're guarding and rebounding well, our offense takes off. And so I think we have a great feel for that, knowing that if we can't be a team that trades baskets. That's not going to be okay for us. We gotta get some stops, create some transition. But our defensive versatility and our willingness to compete the way we have on that end have allowed us to really make a jump these last couple of
Kondo
weeks.
had the block of the season.
Which one was it?
Luke Kane.
Yeah, they're pretty good. He has a lot of those though.
Now you've had a chance last couple of years to be around Billy D's dad a little bit. Just can you speak to his loss? And
Yeah, heard late Saturday night after our game about Billy D senior passing was super. It's really sad, to be honest. He has been living here in Gainesville with Duke Werner and some other guys. We go get lunch usually once a quarter, breakfast once a quarter, and I just had breakfast with him 2 weeks ago with my dad. So to hear that was really just devastating, to be honest, because we saw him and he was doing great 2 weeks ago, and it just kind of reminds you just how precious life is and how everything can change so quickly. It obviously hit me with my dad, who's dealt with some heart issues before, and just reminded me how lucky and fortunate I am that he's been a big part of my life and is able to come to a lot of the games and be around a lot, and definitely just a great reminder of how fortunate we are. But I feel terrible for Billy D. I'm glad that he was around so he could be here.
his dad loved the Gators, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, his dad was an incredible human, man. He still was very passionate, about our program, about being in Gainesville, and just I like to classify people. You're either a fountain or you're a drain. This dude was a huge fountain, and he was always energetic and made everyone around him better, and in a better mood. So it's a terrible loss. I believe we will honor him tomorrow night before the game, and we'll do everything we can to be there for Coach Donovan as he's going through it.
He was at your introduction.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you'd met him?
Yeah, I think that was. And then, we, as I said, we would grab breakfast probably in the off season once a month or so, during the year probably once a quarter, whenever timing permits. But he would text a lot, about watching our team and just supporting us, and always, in great spirits.
Anything else? Great. All right, Tom, good.
Thanks, Todd.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.